When I was a kid, I never really was partial to dogs. I mean, we had a dog. I remember the dog's name was called him Blackie, and I don't remember what kind of a dog it was, but it was not as quite as big as a German Shepherd, but it was smaller than that, but not a lot smaller. But anyway, it was a nice dog. He was a good dog. And then I remember one day Blackie was accused of biting somebody, and I can't remember the details on it, but I remember the dog catcher came over and explained it to my mom and dad. And I was only like 4 years old, so I didn't understand a lot. But I remember, he had the Blackie was on a chain, in a little choke chain thing in the kitchen while the administrator there explained things out, and I remember the strangest thing. I remember I knew that he was going to take the dog away because if you have a dog that bites somebody in those days at least, the dog was just destroyed. That's what they did. But I remember that Blackie must have known what was going to happen because even though the guy that came over to get him, he was friendly and nice and petted him and everything. You could see that it was a nice dog. He just had his duty that he had to do. It was his job. He had no choice. The verdict had already been pronounced. Anyway, so Blackie was in the kitchen shivering. I remember seeing him there. The dog catcher guy was at the table with my mom, and they were filling out some paperwork. And the dog was sitting there. Blackie was just sitting there, obedient to, just sitting at the table with that short chain on him. And he was shivering, as if he knew what was going to happen to him. But even so, he was a well-behaved dog, and that was the last I saw of Blackie. But anyway, other than that, I never did get along with dogs very well. I don't know why. I remember when I was a kid. Well, I wasn't a kid anymore. I was about 20, something like that. I was in the Navy at the time, and one of my Navy buddies didn't live very far away from here, so we were on leave one time. Went over to visit his parents and so forth, and I remember walking down his driveway, and we were just looking at it, going to see his boat. I think his folks had a boat or something, and we were going to go out on the lake and go buzz around or something like that. But anyway, I remember that walking down his driveway toward the boat, something suddenly jumped up at me, bit me on the leg. Didn't draw blood, but it bit me on the leg, and what the heck, I turned around, and it was a dog. It was his dog, and it wasn't a very big dog. It was a medium-sized dog, but he snuck up behind me and bit me on the leg because he hated me or something. And I remember my friend Ron, he looked absolutely shocked because, the dog had never bitten anyone or been aggressive to anyone ever before. And as far as I know, after that, never since. Now, some people say, well, a dog can sense that, you don't like him or something like that, because, you give off pheromones or whatever. But, that one, I think that dog just hated me. And I didn't even know he was there, so it wasn't that I was giving off pheromones because I was afraid of him or something, or challenging him or anything like that. I didn't even know he was there. He followed me up there and bit me on the back of the leg. Didn't draw blood, and I didn't do anything about it because what do you want? I it's a one-time thing, so who cares? So I let it go. But anyway, that was how my encounters with dogs from then on. After Blackie, from then on, that's how they always were. Dogs never liked me. So I kind of took a liking to cats because, I don't know, they're a different sort of animal. A dog likes to be dependent upon you. He likes to be with you or something like that. But cats, they can take or leave you. You don't treat them right or don't pet them enough or you don't give them enough food or you don't give them what they like. They kind of, say, well, let me see if there's something better down the road here. I'll go looking down the road and see if I can find something better. And they do. They don't care. They don't really have any loyalty, let me put it that way. As long as there's food there, they'll hang around. As long as you pet them and there's food and everything's nice, they'll hang around. But the minute things are looking like, hey, I think the grass might be greener on the other side over there. They go over there and they go check it out. But I don't know, but that's the way cats are. But anyway, so as I got married and had kids, I remember one time. Cats are smart, too. That's another thing. Cats are very smart. And I remember one time we were living in this house with a sliding glass door out of the kitchen, and out on the other side of that door was like a patio, a covered patio. And you gotta see this. You gotta understand this layout to understand the rest of the story. So the kitchen is over here, and then there's a sliding glass door over there, and a little further there was a little room, storage shed, that really was just someplace, it was on the other side. But anyway, so I got kind of tired of. We had a cat, and we liked him. He's a nice cat, but we didn't have cats inside the house. They were always outside cats, but we'd go out there, and pet them and play around with them and whatever, because cats like that. But anyway, so I got tired of feeding this thing, thinking, maybe I could do something kind of automated like. So what I did was I made this feeder, it really wasn't automated, but it was a cat feeder, and it was kind of like a chicken feeder, if you've ever seen one of those. But the idea was it was kind of a bucket on the top, and this is all made out of wood, but just stay with me here. It's like kind of a bucket on the top, and on the bottom there's like a little shelf where the cat food would come, out as the cats ate the cat food out there at the bottom of the shelf. Now, so I thought, that's great, I don't have to feed the cat anymore. I'll just take a 5-pound bag of cat food, dump it in there, and then the kids can go outside and pet the cats and play with them. But I don't have to worry about feeding them anymore because the feed's always there. I just have to, maybe once a week or once a month or something like that, go out and make sure there's still food there. Well, something happened, which I'm sure, as you might expect, was we had one cat. And then as we go along here, what happened was I noticed that there was 2 cats out there. And then pretty soon there was 3 cats. And pretty soon, the way cats are, I think there might be something better to offer on the other side of the fence there. Let me go check this. Apparently, the whole neighborhood, the cats in the neighborhood were coming around because, hey, there's food there and there always is. So they'd come around and get something. And of course, our cat, being friendly like he was, he or she, I don't even know what it was, he or she. But anyway, our cat was friendly. And so, I'd just sit there and eat. And he'd say, come on over, buddy, come on over. Yeah, I have some. There's some food right here. Yeah, there's plenty for all of us. Come on. And so, the cats pretty soon started gathering around that thing. And so I didn't want to feed all the neighborhood cats and start, drawing cats in. That wasn't the idea. So what I did was I thought, well, how am I going to fix this? What I want to do is make sure that our cat knows that this is where he can get his food and he's happy with it and everything's fine. But the neighborhood cats, no, they don't like this. They don't like to go here. They know that there's something not right about eating food out of that thing. So what could I do to set it up? Set up something like that would make the cats think that. Well, what I did was, I know a lot about, electric things. So I thought, I can make a little shocking device, by basically lining the bottom of the little feeder thing with a little bit of metal, aluminum foil or something, connecting a wire to it, and then putting something on the ground so that they stand on the metal plate and then they put their mouth in there to take a bite of the food. And, it's a harmless shock. I made a little device that would do that. It's a harmless shock. It wouldn't hurt them physically. But, it was unpleasant. So they, what the hell, I don't like this. Anyway, so one day, what I did was I put this thing and set it out by the feeder. And, I set it out there. And then I ran a wire inside that other room that I was telling you about and outside the window, And so there we are in front of that glass sliding door. And there's the feeder box right down there. And my kids really got interested in this. They thought this sounded pretty cool. Now they were like 9, 10 years old. Anyway, so what happens is, so we were out there, and sure enough, all these cats were sitting there having a feast. And so I told my kids, now you go out there and you go get our cat and you pick him up and you pet him, like whatever, get him away from there. So then I went back into that other room, and you kind of push a button there and it would send a shock to the cats out there. So, and I was kind of watching out the window out the other side. There was a window in there, but you could, if you leaned way over, you could kind of see what was going on out there. So I pushed that little button and shocked them, And I'll tell you what happened. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. There's like 6 or 7 cats, and they all, in unison, did a backflip. And they all landed kind of in a semicircle around this feeder. And they're all kind of sitting there at equal distance, and landing on their feet. And they're looking at it like, what in the world? And then I told my kids, hey, put our cat back, and put him there. Okay. So our cat's back, and he goes back and starts to eat. And, the other cats, and they're just sitting there looking like, hey, what just happened? Something's not right here. Now, if they was dogs, one time they would have went, nope, never going back there again. That was ow. But cats aren't like that. They kind of look at this, and they see our cat eating, and they kind of go, well, did this really just happen? Or did we imagine this? Or why is he, something's not right. But anyway, so, did it again. They slowly, one by one, start coming up and, just kind of really carefully looking at it. And our cat's going, yeah, what's the matter, guys? Plenty of food. Come on. Yeah. Hey, come on. Yeah, everybody. Yeah, sure. Anyway, so it happened again. So, I went out to that little room, and my kids went out and grabbed the cat and were petting him. And all the other cats, after a while, they got comfortable, started eating again. And then I hit the button again from the window, looking out the window, and boom, off they went. They did a backflip, and they're all looking around, in this semicircle about 3 feet away from this thing going, what in the world? I don't get it. They were still, anyway. So this went on for a couple of days like that. And so the routine of it was that I would, I would come home, and the kids would see the cat. Oh, the cats are all out there, Daddy. Like, oh, good. So then I'd walk past this sliding glass door into that back room and go out there and get the kids to, pick up the one cat and then do the thing to him, and they all jump back. Well, after about the 3rd day, I think it was, I noticed that what happened was the kids they told me, hey, Daddy, the cat's out there. Oh, boy. There's like 10 of them or something. So I walked past the sliding glass door into that back room, and the kids started telling me, right away, hey, the cats all just went away. And before I did anything. And so I was sitting there thinking, and then I went away, and then the cats would come back, and then, okay, then the kids would come get me again later. Hey, Daddy, the cats are all back. They're all back. So I go, oh, goody. So, I said, okay, you go outside and pick up. So they go outside. And then about the time, I walk past that sliding glass door and go back into that back room, and peek out that other window, they're yelling at me, Dad, they all just went away. And so I figured out what's happening was that they, cats are smart. They figured out that, hey, it's safe to eat here as long as you don't see that guy walk past the sliding glass door and into that room back there. He does that, then the things bad things happen. The cats figured that out in just 3 or 4 days, and so it defeated the whole purpose of the thing. And I never thought cats were that smart. They think about this. They figure it out, cause and effect. And, and because they're not like dogs, they go, I got bit once, I ain't coming back to this. No. Cats were like, did that really happen? Or let's go try this again. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we imagined it. Well, he's okay. How come he's eating? And they sit there in some kind of thought process, and they'll go try it again. And that's why they say, what, curiosity killed the cat? Well, there's an example, curiosity of how come this is happening and it ain't happening to him. They've got enough smarts to process something like that in their little heads. But anyway, next time you feed your cat, just think about, that they do think things through, not in the same way we do, maybe, but they saw the cause and the effect, and the cause was me going into that back room. And whatever was happening at that feeder station, they knew it would happen when I went back into that back room. So that's my cat story. And I hope you like it.